This is Kathy Chase. As I talked about the privacy issues with RFID, and RFID being around a long time, what's happening here is you've got local people and politicians kind of having their own little private little government, private citizens here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and from what I understand, politicians trying to form their own little controls over whether it's just Lincoln, Nebraska, or whatever confined area, to dictate people's lives, to make them toys. RFID has been around so many years. As far as the patent or the, who actually put out RFID, it was done before any of the current presidents were alive, I'm sure. Beyond that fact, even if they've bought the rights to any of the RFID, and which is in my body or other people's, that doesn't give them the rights to other people's bodies. Okay? You cannot have rights to people's bodies because you put stuff in their bodies and what you bought. If you buy the rights to a product, such as a gun, doesn't mean you can go shoot people, right? If you buy rights to medicine, doesn't mean you can go poison people, correct? Same thing goes for people. You can't buy rights to a product. RFID is just a product. And it doesn't matter what company it comes from. There's thousands upon thousands of manufacturers for RFID, and they all are used for different sort of things. There's some of them, half of them are in electronics, half of them are in people, and then some of them are in animals, and so forth. Okay? And there's the tag-to-tag RFID, in which tag-to-tag communications are big in Japan. Japan, of course, at the leading edge of technology. Everybody knows Japan. That's where, they're the capital of, the country where, cutting edge technology comes from. Cutting edge technology doesn't mean you cut people up before or after you place technology into their bodies. But as I said, these people could have bought rights to some of these companies thinking that they could use that to say, oh, we have legal rights to this product, but you don't have legal rights to other people's bodies. People wanting to play with their own little confined games with people's lives, such as mine and my children, which they have no rights to do. You can't own people. This is not the days of slavery and so forth, okay? I'm not a slave. I'm not owned by any person. Nobody can use these rainbow laws with your little colored ties games to try to take my rights out from underneath me, because you can't do that. What we have going on here is a huge ordeal with communism, extremely on a local scale, which is extreme. And I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who in government who back me up. I'm sure of it. They just haven't came forward because of the fact of things I've read and things that I've gotten, that they, it's big. What's happened here is it's not a good situation to be in. But at the same time, I just realized, I know why they're doing this. Okay, I talked about Pink Floyd The Wall thing. Well, I was only 6 years old when that came out, and you have to watch the movie. I wish some networks would. Wish a bunch of networks would put them on TV. You'd have to watch the total version. I don't know if they would, there's the uncut version, right? Or the, it's just like movies. People when they're cutting, they want to cut people up and put pit scars with RFID in their bodies and then cut them up with frickin' pacemakers and kill them for it. That's what people are trying to do to me. Pitting, I can't stress that word enough. All the definitions of pits, because that is the most important word and definition here. Okay, you know how I talked about the whole Hitler thing and then the Russian thing? You know how Gorbachev had the scar on his head? Well, my father has a scar on his head. But my father's not Russian. My father is totally German. Okay? My father has a scar on his head, but not because of I don't know what people have rumored, but he was in a car accident in Nebraska City. He worked for a hardware store, okay? And he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. He was working at the time, making a delivery from the hardware store or something, which reminds me of Happy Days. A little bit, okay? I don't know. I'm not really sure how that all came about, but my parents, I believe, met at that hardware store, but I don't know the total story of that. Anyways, my father has a huge scar on his head, on his forehead, if you've seen him before. My father worked for NE cable channel 12 for many years, and I believe he's been framed for a lot of things because they've used his money. And I know my dad and my mom don't have money right now. They couldn't have money because they don't show that they have money, and I just know they don't have that kind of money. I know they haven't gained any financial, they haven't had any financial gain from all the tragedies of my life, in which you've got people just walking all over me and basically my family, and using gang type initializing scare tactics in this PITS process to scare people. And if they don't scare them, they try to bribe them. It's either bribe or scare, bribe, scare, bribe, scare. That's how they're doing it. And people know this. But here's another realization with the whole Volkswagen thing. Hitler and Volkswagens, okay? Well, the Chase family, as I said, they all own Volkswagens. Everybody in their family. The Lastons, they all own Volkswagens. The fact of the matter of the Beatles music. As I said, Sgt. Pepper's played a role, which, was around. Sgt. Pepper's, that album came out in 1968, I believe. I was born in 1973, and of course it has nothing to do with me or Chase Spicer, because Chase Spicer was born 10 years after, Chase Spicer's 29 years old, I guess, and I'm 38. So, anyways, I just thought of a whole other thing. I guess you got to go back to more Beatles music. You Can't Buy Me Love, Robin bought me the cabriolet I had for a while, and that was when I was working for CBA. I had a white Volkswagen cabriolet for a few years because he had bought me one. It's it's one of those little convertibles. It was 1989. It was like a year different from the one in that movie, You Can't Buy Me Love. Okay, but here's another thing I thought of, the Revolution song by the Beatles. And it's like, what's happening to me? They've incorporated older music from before I was born, The Doors, and so forth. The Wall, indirectly, really doesn't have anything to do with me, but has been, I don't think, as intended towards directly my life, because The Wall was put out before my foot incident, and I believe people had used that, I guess, unless it was one of these people that were one of these Sears people or whatever that playing this that way, or, you know, with the RFID or whatever. But, you know, I didn't want to be playing this wall game or be used in this sort of way for people in or out of government to expose government or whatever. And I don't think government as a whole really cares all that much, because government doesn't own RFID either. You can't own RFID as a whole because there's too many companies, and it's just been around too long. And you know, freedom of speech, they can't, you know, they're like, yeah, use your freedom of speech. If people are going to try to murder you with false things and slander, you know, they can't do nothing to me. And they put me in this position to begin with intentionally, okay? And, you know, voicemail 7, voicemail 12, I think it was voicemail 7 and voicemail 12, and then 31, and then I'm redoing 32. There's like probably, out of all my voicemails, there's probably 5 or 6 of them that are really, really important. And, you know, that's the ones I want people to pay attention to. I'll have to review them again, but I think it was 7 and 12. And then the one I talked about how they make their medical claims, and that's a joke because, yeah, that makes no sense. Saying I'm yellow or Jesus, and they're sort of claims. If I was Jesus, you know, I'd have these people dead by now, right? Obviously. There's another one on religion, in which, you know, these people are obviously atheists. I guess that's what their A stands for. They're atheists. Could be. I don't know. But, you know, nobody would want this to happen to them. Obviously, they keep me. They try to hide me, you know, from the media and the public as much as possible, and then they go pay people to make rumors about me in the public because they block media. Okay, I go to Walmart, or I'll go to major stores where there's lots of people around, okay? And I got sick of doing that because this is, you know, some of them are, you know, other people with this little gang, local gang, in which, you know, tries to, you know, they'll go out and figure out look at what I'm wearing and the details, and then they'll probably go, you know, slam me somewhere online or something. But as I said, you know, that's not it. That's not effective because of the fact that they're just too chicken to just bring the media around and show everybody who I am at once, because they've got too much to hide. That's ineffective. These people are way beyond competency. They're ignorant. They've got big egos. They have no respect for other people or their lives, mine or the public's in general. They wouldn't have done this. And they don't have any consideration for other people. All they're worried about is money. And we're just all, you know, a lot of the public, we're just running around their little, you know, gophers to society. They're little guinea pigs to make them money. And that, you know, that's pathetically sick, because, you know, I'm not here for their little revolution, you know. But, you know, I'll defend myself no matter what I have to do. So, this is Kathy Chase. They're trying to evidently use me as some sort of method to expose government, because they had no reason to do so to begin with, and then try to get me killed, I guess, because with their own personal liabilities or whatever. as people know about, I guess, ways of torture, I've talked about some of them, tarred feathering and all this other stuff, but I think waterboarding is like electrical torture or something. And I guess, with the legs pantyhose thing, I just came to an idea because I talked about EEG. EEG is just was it electroencephalogram. EEG is just brain waves. EKG is electrocardiogram, I believe. Cardiogram. EEG. The whole thing with associating the egg and the pantyhose and the last name starting with an E and electronics and all the E things I came across, and they put me in this exploitive situation because they know my communications, but they block the media from actually physically seeing me because they don't want people to see who I am and everything else, because they're using me. They're just using me in my life. Basically torturing my body, because they know the more they hurt my body, they know the more I'm going to panic to talk. And that's what's happened. They've kept doing this and doing this and doing this, and EEG, EKGs. You use paddles to shock people. Shady Creek is where my foot incident happened, between Shady Creek and Cloveridge Circle. You know how you have paddles on electric shock when people have heart failure. They use the paddles to revive people with the defibrillators. There's paddles on defibrillators, and up the creek without a paddle. Not really needing a paddle for a pacemaker, obviously. And I can't help it, I wore a turtle shirt, and I'm behind because people put me under hypnosis and so forth. As far as people taking advantage of my life, just making my life their toy for their profit. And they keep me, as I said, cornered. Not exposing me to people in the public. They're trying to keep me cornered so they can rumor more and lie about me more. That's their only, and make more money in the process. And then they want to kill me, murder me, because they're liars. So they know the more they hurt my body, the more I'm going to panic to talk, and the more they know I know the pacemaker's there, and it's scary when people have a pacemaker, put a pacemaker in you, and set you up to be exposed like this with whatever their wall thing or their whatever they had used in music, their little psychotropic, psychotic little trip thing. And I'm not vacationing. This is not what I call R&R, as in rest and relaxation or anything like this. This is hell, what they've been doing to my life, and they can't come up with a reason for why they did this other than they're trying to use me as a measure to expose government. Well, why would they use me if I wasn't intended to do something else? Well, you have corruption, right? You have people making money. Okay, that's one thing. But why would they be so desperate to get rid of me if I didn't have some other, as I talked about before, some other role that I was supposed to do, and something else I was supposed to do, and They wanted to make me out to be the bad person, why they stole what was rightfully mine. And, you know, the money thing and the whole corruption with the money and the monopoly, to me, that appears to be the cover-up. Same with my foot. So now they, you know, they say, oh, this wall thing, and then they've used all these lyrics from even way, way before I was born. And my foot incident didn't happen until after 1979. And then, you know, I noticed Blondie, the Heart of Glass or whatever. That doesn't make any sense to me either, because my foot happened in would have been about, let's see, I would have been 11 years old, so, you know, early 80s, so it would have been after that. So you know, I'm a little confused about this whole, well, we know that the music from the 60s has nothing, is irrelevant. Anything before 1973, the Doors, a lot of the Doors, Love Street, a lot of the Led Zeppelin music, you know, has nothing to do with my life, and they've incorporated it in their little game of saying, oh, we're going to use music, you know. And I said, as I talked about in one of my blogs, politicians have gone to Hollywood, and they have. They think it's all about a social game and using people to step on to get to where they want in life. You know, so, you know, I'm gonna keep talking, and it's my First Amendment right. If these people are gonna keep abusing my body like they've been doing today, my shoulders are killing me. They hurt really bad. It feels like, you know, somebody's like squeezing them or pounding nails in them sometimes. There's different types of pain they send to them. But the reason why this started is because when me and Rob did LSD in high school, right as the last year of high school, we did that. And after you do LSD, you get really tense shoulders. And I don't think they're little flashbacks with intentionally causing me post-traumatic stress disorder, and their little LSD and the testing in the military and labeling me as military to play all this Agent Orange and Agent Orange and intentionally. Rob's the one who bought the LSD. Rob's the one that's always bought marijuana. I've never purchased it. He still does it. And, you know, I'm tired of them labeling me as a bad person and Rob's family having all the privilege. As you've seen, how many pictures have you seen privilege where there's down at the KVC, you saw that picture, and then, you know, Rob has, you know, his numbers on that privilege card, and I'm tired of, you know, this crap. You know, as I said, part of this town is in one realm or the other, and I really resent people thinking that this is okay to do to other people. Just because it's not them does not make it okay, okay? And so I don't appreciate human rights people not doing their job. This is Kathy Chase.